Hello, learners. Okay, let's go ahead and see what you have for Lesson 31, Session 1, pages 691 and 692. You were working on classifying quadrilaterals. That means we were comparing and putting quadrilaterals into groups. Now, here is an opportunity for you to learn the words that we use for quadrilaterals. So I'll zoom in a little bit, and we'll look at the definitions and the pictures that you could have drawn. A quadrilateral, remember quad means four. It is a flat shape with four sides and four angles. If you have something different, but it kind of means the same thing, then that's okay. You might have worded it differently, but as long as you said four sides and four angles, you are correct. Here is an example of a quadrilateral. Notice I have four sides and I have four angles. Attribute. Say attribute. An attribute is a way to describe an object. If you don't have that written down, go ahead and pause the video and write it. Now, some examples of attributes are the number of sides, the length of the sides, the number of angles, the number of right angles. There are more attributes, but this is enough to get started. A parallelogram. Practice saying parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with opposite sides parallel and same length. So notice in my parallelogram, my sides are parallel and they're the same length. Also, my top and bottom line are parallel, meaning they never touch, and they are also the same length. In my square, notice my opposite sides are parallel. The two lines are always the same distance from each other. And my top and bottom are also parallel. Notice that my top and bottom, my side and side, and my top and bottom are the same length. Now we can get a little bit more specific. We have a rectangle. A rectangle is a quadrilateral, so it's one of these, but with four right angles. Remember, a right angle is a corner. Remember, we can use the edge of something or the corner of something. Notice that it makes a corner. So that is a right angle. And a rectangle has four right angles, always. Notice that this rectangle is also a parallelogram, and it is also a quadrilateral. So we can call this three different names. And a rhombus. A rhombus is a quadrilateral with all four sides the same length. So notice that it's a quadrilateral because there's four sides. There are four angles, but notice that all the sides are the same length. Notice we do not have any right angles here. A rhombus does not need to have right angles. A rhombus is also a parallelogram, and it is also a quadrilateral. So we have three names for this rhombus, but rhombus is the most specific. Okay, you had to circle the parallelograms. Remember, parallelograms have four sides, and the opposite sides are parallel and the same length. So this is a parallelogram. Our square is a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram. This is not. Why is this not a parallelogram? Well, a parallelogram has to have four sides. It does not have four sides, so it does not have that. What else? A parallelogram has to have opposite sides the same. Opposite sides the same. And notice we don't have opposite sides. We only have three sides, so we don't have that. This is not a parallelogram. I forgot I zoomed in. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay, go ahead and turn the page over to 692. Okay, in number 3, let's read the word problem. A parallelogram is one kind of quadrilateral. A square is another kind of quadrilateral. How are a parallelogram and a square the same? How are they different? So we have our parallelogram here, and we have our square here. Let's make a column, or you should have a column of the way that the two shapes are the same. You should have that they both have four angles. Notice a parallelogram has four and a square has four angles. They both have four sides. Notice that their opposite sides are the same length. So the top and the bottom are the same length. The side and the side are the same length. Same with the square. The top and the bottom are the same length, and the side and side are the same length. We also notice that the opposite sides are parallel. Remember, if we use our sticks, if those lines were to continue forever and ever, they don't touch. That means they're parallel. What makes them different? Well, the square has 4 sides all the same length. Notice that all 4 sides are the same length. That's not true for our parallelogram. On the parallelogram, the top and the bottom are longer than the sides. Our square also has 4 right angles. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Our parallelogram does not have right angles. And I also notice that our parallelogram has longer top and bottom and shorter sides. If you have something else, that's okay, but make sure that you have at least these on your paper. And that is it for today. I'll see you for session 2.